Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
Yeah. And today marks the first Purple Daily off-season Vikings blueprint edition here, where we go through. We're gonna try and do this in like an hour or less, where we go through the entire Vikings off-season, their cap situation, potential restructures, cuts, internal free agents, external free agents, and a mock draft simulation. We'll speed through the exercise, and we will make the Vikings what the Chiefs have become. We're going to make them a dynasty. We're going to make them what the Eagles have become, the greatest rushing offense in NFL history. I don't know. We're going to make them better is our goal today.
I prefer to think savor the exercise. Savor it like a great steak. You savor what we're about to do to make this team a fantastic team.
Like a great pizza at Quick Trip. Like a great on-the-go snack at Quick Trip.
No question about that. Exactly right. You know what? If you want to get the two best things in life, well, first of all, consume this edition in which we make the Vikings a dynasty. And second of all, check in at the place that I consider to be the dynasty of places to go into and get whatever you need. And that, of course, is our friends at Quick Trip. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, a snack. You're driving home tonight and you say, you know what? I've got nothing to eat tonight. What am I going to do? Well, Sports Dad has the answer. You're going to stop in at Quick Trip. And if that gas tank is near E, guess what? You're going to fill up the gas tank too. And if you don't feel like going in, just put the app on your phone, folks. It's that simple. They'll bring it out to you. Can't get any simpler than our friends, as I am sporting their hoodie today at Quick Trip. Make it.
Also, a shout out to Roku, America's #1 TV streaming platform, and all that they do to make this football viewing season and future seasons very exciting. So my wife and I picked up a 65-inch Roku Pro Series 4K TV for our living room. We were watching Championship Sunday all day yesterday. It's just been great for football season. So yeah, Roku's been America's #1 TV streaming platform. They also now just make their own TVs, which is what I'm talking about. You can go into mostly any retailer that sells TVs near you, or go to Roku.com and check out the new line of TVs. And right now on the YouTube channel, you'll see old Macadac we got a new setup here. We just tilted 90 degrees. After 2 years in the office here, it was time to change out the desk that doesn't work anymore. It's like one of those up-down desks that hasn't worked in 2 years, and the couch that was rickety. So we've kind of shifted. But behind me here, you see, this is the Roku media player. So if we want to put Judd's mug up on here, if we want to put, I don't know, whatever we want to put up here, we can put. So
all
Roku,
the dogs.
All of our
Vinny,
dogs.
Maya, Stella, all the dogs, just front and center.
I think we'll get creative with that. So boys, let's do this here. We did this a handful of times last year. The goal of these off-season blueprint episodes is to simulate the entire Vikings off-season, which starts here with free agency coming up. Actually, it's starting this week at the Senior Bowl and all the conversations happening, and then the NFL Combine. But we will spend time in 4 main areas here. Number 1, the cap space situation and how we can even get them more cap space, either through cuts or restructures or extensions. The second area would be internal free agents. Who are we re-signing and who are we saying goodbye to? The third area is external free agents. So where are we going to spend that boatload of cash? And then a draft simulation that will be more honed as we go through our Thursday episodes. Once we get a better knowledge base of who these players are.
And quick right now, right? Three picks?
They have 4 on here now. They actually have the third round pick.
Despite the fact the third round pick is not official. Oh boy, they're living dangerously.
They do have
they're
the comp
assuming.
Picks. Yeah. So we're just going with the PFF simulation. So by the way, NFL contract, and once we get into free agency, like NFL contracts are complicated, and we're not going to get super in the weeds, but we'll sort of do the best we can estimating based on the signing bonuses.
I was building in void years yesterday when I was.
Take it as far as you want to. You are the resident capologist here on the show. So,
I don't think so.
So let's start with the first category, which is the cap space report and how we could make it even better for the Vikings. So they have, according to Over the Cap, about $58 million in cap space for 2025. Mm-hmm. I would love to throw out, and if you guys if you guys have strong opinions on these guys, shout it out. If we breeze past them, that's fine too. But there's like a handful of players. How can we go from 58 million in cap space to even more cap space through cuts or restructures or extensions? Let me throw a name out. Brian O'Neill, 30 years old. He's got 2 years left on his contract. No guaranteed money left, so it's kind of a fork in the road for the team and the player to figure something out. He has the highest current cap hit on the team at $26 million. You could convert a large chunk or all of his base salary, which is $17 million, non-guaranteed, to a signing bonus, and you could actually, so you'd push a little more cap accounting into 2026, maybe even void years.
Right.
But you would save $8 million in cap space for 2025 by simply restructuring 30-year-old Brian O'Neill.
And so the incentive for him would be to get some guaranteed cash then, or some upfront, correct? So yes,
Well,
I think yes. This is the type of contract where it was probably done with this in mind. So it's probably not like an issue. It helps both sides. So it's an accounting contract. So I would say that's a slam dunk.
Yeah. Easy
Right.
restructure, easy new contract, regardless. I mean, look, he's a great tackle. I think sometimes we get too paranoid with age. Like, yes, he's turning 30. He's 29 right now, but he's still been in the league, it feels like, forever. But he was drafted in 2018. Easily, you can make this into a much more obtainable contract instead of him running out there for $26 million next year.
And it behooves him to do it though too. So like he'll be happier.
Yeah.
And actually, semantically, you don't need his permission. You can do you can take someone's base salary, convert it to a signing bonus. To over-explain here, a signing bonus gets prorated accounting-wise over the duration of the contract. So you would essentially be like taking his $17 million salary, giving it to him up front as a signing bonus, so it's guaranteed in his pocket.
Correct.
And then you would take half of it, because there's 2 years left on the deal, and shove half the accounting into 2026.
Right. And I don't
Bing,
think
bang, boom.
And I don't think that there's been a player in history who is thrilled that he's going to have a high cap with no guaranteed cash left.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's like, you're screwing me. It's like, no, actually, they're helping him out as well. So, yeah.
Here's
Like
a few other names. I'll just throw a boat of names out to you guys. Guys that are ripe for, based on their cap numbers and their contracts, either a restructure, a cut, or an extension of some kind. Josh Metellus, heading into the last year of his contract. Josh Oliver, last year of his contract. Garrett Bradbury, Ed Ingram, CJ Ham. All five of those guys heading into the last year of their contracts.
What is the Ed Ingram? So he is going into the fourth year of his rookie contract, right?
Yes.
And if you cut him, do you help yourself at all?
Yep.
Because like I don't see him back.
Yeah.
Dex, if you have the numbers, go ahead and throw it out there.
So if you were to cut Ed Ingram, obviously pre-June 1, the dead money would be $385,000, and you would save $3.3 million. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So for virtually no penalty, like Dex said,
one.
under $500,000 in cap penalty.
Easy one.
And so you save $3.5 million. There's no way you would bring him back for his $3.5 million hit is like more than your starting left guard Blake Brandel made last year, right? So he's a backup at this point. He is only 26, but you would want him making backup, because you can get backup guards for $1 million, or you could just less than $1 million. You could elevate dudes who you drafted.
Yep.
So we're cutting at Ingram.
Yeah.
Yes.
Easy cut.
Okay.
On Metellus, so he has a $7.3 million cap hit. You would save more money than by cutting. Like if you cut him, you'll have a $1 million penalty, but save 6.3. I'm interested in keeping Josh Metellus. I do
He's
not
an
want to
awesome
keep Josh
player.
Metellus.
Yeah.
They're gonna go to Josh, and they are going to try and work out an extension.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he has void years from 26, 7, and 8. I would definitely just do a new contract here.
They're gonna
for
try.
him. Yeah.
Yep. So I don't think he has any guaranteed money left. So there's incentive for him to want to guarantee money, and there's incentive for the team to just have a really good 26-year-old Swiss Army knife locked up. He currently has the 9th highest cap hit on the team. He takes up 2.5% of the cap. So like, conditions are ripe for an extension there. I think estimated, this is where we get into the estimation game. If you extend him, you're probably taking his 9th highest cap hit of 7.5 down. So let's just say for the purposes of this, you save $2 million in cap space for this upcoming year on an extension for Metellus, and you shove some more money into the future.
Now,
Go with that.
I believe Dukes has told us on the scoop previously that they also tried to extend at some point in time last spring Byron Murphy Jr. and Cam Bynum. So like, there's not a guarantee that Josh would take it unless it's extremely beneficial to him. But yeah, I think that the goal will obviously be to try to get him signed to at least a 3-year extension beyond the upcoming year.
Yeah, I mean, get him locked up. Like, he's 26.
done so much. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just the type of guy that probably ages gracefully. You could move him back to, I mean, he's probably a dude that if he kept signing contracts could play into his 30s, I think, just based on what you do with him.
And assuming that Harrison Smith is gone, he probably becomes the smartest guy on your defense. Like, he becomes the most influential mind out there / like on-field coach. So there's every incentive to sign him to an extension.
Okay, 3 other names here in the what should we do with them bin, heading into the last year of their contracts, where you could save some money by saying goodbye or extending or whatever. So Josh Oliver, 27 years old, has the 8th highest cap hit on the team at $9.5 million. There's no more guaranteed money left, so some incentive there on both sides. Garrett Bradbury is going to be 30. He has the 12th highest cap hit on the team. And CJ Ham is going to be 32. He has the 20th highest cap hit on the team. If you cut CJ Ham, you save $2.5 million in cap space. If you cut Garrett Bradbury, you save $3.5 million. You eat like 2.5 or 3. Josh Oliver, if you cut him, you save $5 million. You'd probably, Josh, you need dudes who he's a good second tight end. He can run block. You're looking to make your run game better and not worse in 2025.
He can catch.
He can catch passes.
Yeah, he is not a guy I am trying to save cap space on. By cutting, at least.
Yeah, so like an extension, you would estimate it here. You extend him, you give him some guaranteed money. You probably save about $5 million in cap space for this year by bringing his number down and smoothing it out. Unless Dex wants to fight on Josh Oliver. We're bringing back Josh Oliver?
No. Yeah, I'm down with bringing back Josh Oliver, whether it's at this figure or just a new figure. I want Josh Oliver on this team.
Okay. What about CJ Ham and Garrett Bradbury?
Oh, Bradbury, I'm down for a new center. I really am. I'm ready to be done with the Bradbury experience. Now, I think it would be unwise though to potentially roll into the draft and maybe address it in free agency with like no real plan at center. Like so for example, if you cut Garrett Bradbury, I would then envision in free agency, whether it's first or second wave, you are bringing in some type of competent center, because just going in with, was it Juergens is their backup center that they drafted last year, whether they want to find one again in this year's draft. That's just also a lot, in my opinion, for a rookie quarterback to have to work with a brand new center, a rookie center too, potentially. So I would like to cut Bradbury, but that means we're signing a center immediately in free agency.
And the problem there is when you go through the list, there's Dahlman from the Falcons, but he's going to get paid. There is not a big list. Like, so that this is a very much, if you're going to make this move, I mean, I wonder if you would attempt to sign one in free agency. If you're not successful, you keep Garrett. If you are successful, you cut him then, because this could be a very dicey move, because you can't be left with like, hey, Juergens, you're going to be good. Just play. On Ham, I mean, how many times, Phil, have we talked about him and like, oh, it looks like they could save, like we've done a variation of this exercise probably for 4 years. And we're always like, well, you could save X amount. And at first we're both like, yeah, just save the money. I don't think CJ Ham is going anywhere. I think they love him.
Really? But like, dude, he only plays like 20% of the offensive snaps. He's not, I get the vision. Okay, you're looking to heavier personnel.
Yes.
He's probably your most reliable pass protector. When you have a third and must pass game on the line, chances are he's in the game as a pass protector. But I get the vision for it. But you need a different, younger version of him.
Yes.
And so, I mean, I actually think they're more likely to keep Garrett Bradbury out of the two for the because there's a guard. I think there's more guards available for what you're trying to do in free agency than just going in with a shoulder shrug emoji and we're going to put JJ McCarthy and we don't know who his starting center is going to be.
And Bradbury is just to be clear, he is far from the train wreck that he probably was in 2020.
Yeah.
So like he has improved himself. So yeah, that's I don't disagree. I'm just saying the predictions that Ham was going to or might be cut at some point in time have been made by me continually, and they don't. But I would have no problem if they did decide to move on.
So all right, just a vote. Garrett Bradbury, are we keeping him or cutting him? Or extending him. I don't think they're extending.
Keeping.
I think you got to keep him right now.
Keeping.
I think you're probably right.
But with
fans are going to hate this.
But you can but if you do find one, like if you end up with Dahlman, then obviously you cut him at that time, which is not the greatest move from his standpoint, but from the team standpoint, I think you'd be pretty happy with that.
Also, if you were to draft someone, or maybe you do wind up in free agents, I think if you were to bring back Bradbury, you'd be more hunting in the draft, like 5th round for a center, unless maybe Juergens. But this could be a situation where you get like a post-June 1st sort of surprise training camp cut if you feel like someone's ready to take over for Bradbury. But we're saying keep him. And then C.J. Ham. All right, Judd says keep him.
Now, I think the Vikings will. I would personally cut him.
What are we doing? We're running the
I think
Vikings.
we should cut him. I'm just saying what has happened year after year when I predicted this.
Dex?
Cut.
Yeah, I think
cut. Just cut.
Judd's probably right. They love themselves some Ham. He's been a solid role player, but he doesn't play enough to you can't be one of the top 20 cap hits on the team and play 20% of the offensive snaps. Sorry, just can't do that. All right. So that leaves us with, and then by the way, Harrison Smith might retire. His $6.5 million cap hit is currently on the books as a void year as part of this exercise on Over the Cap. Mm-hmm. So if he retires, we'd have to figure out what happens with the cap hits, but we do have to account for the fact that he might not be here in our personnel movement. So going into free agency, we have cleared $21 million in additional 2025 cap space. So we go from $58 million up to $79 million in cap space here.
We're doing a good job. Just brutal.
Said some goodbye to some players. Got some more holes to fill.
I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that.
So that brings us into the internal free agent portion here. And we don't have to spend an hour on this because we actually kind of did this exercise last week on Purple Daily. But there's a few that we should definitely spend some time on, starting with Sam Darnold. Now, you're replacing him with J.J. McCarthy, so you're good going in with who your starter is going to be. His PFF projected free agency contract right now, despite the bad Week 18 and wild card round, 3 years, $124 million, $70 million guaranteed. So $41 million a year on a 3-year deal. Basically, $70 million guaranteed means you're on the hook for 2 years of Sam Darnold, which is it's not like an ironclad. That's not terrible. Do we think can we put him down for a tag and trade? We talked about the Steelers and the Raiders last week. The Raiders have a 1, a 2, 2 3s, a 4, a 5, 3 6s, and a 7. The Steelers have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 7th round picks. Can we get something for Sam Darnold?
I think in 1.0, he just walks. If we start to get steam that this is a possibility, that it's going to I think until you know more, you probably have to assume that he's going to walk because the diciness of this move, I mean, it does come with risk. I will say very interesting over the weekend, if I am not mistaken, that Darnold put out an Instagram post saying how great his time had been here. He'll cherish his teammates. It didn't read to me like necessarily a see a next year post. So I wonder if there is some intelligence creeping into the Darnold camp that he's just gone.
And it was like a week after this, like or 2 weeks after the season ended. It's the type of post you would post 2 days after or maybe 4 days after the season ended if it was a reaction to the season ending.
Right.
This felt like a reaction to a conversation that was held internally. I'm with you.
Right. So I think, personally, I think that we don't try and get too creative yet, and we probably just acknowledge he is going to walk. But that's just me.
Yeah, that Instagram post had a lot of past tense in it. Like it felt like a guy that was saying goodbye to his teammates. I think just the tag and trade is going to be difficult, and also like outside of, like if it is the Raiders who is maybe the favorite to go get him, like are you just tagging him to like start the exclusive negotiation so you can get something from the Raiders beforehand? I think this is tough. I lean with Judd that I don't think we can tag and trade him. I think he just walks.
But if his market is $41 million a year, $124 million, that means that there's multiple teams interested in him. Like the only way he gets to $124 million over 3 years is if there's a market for him. There's multiple teams interested, right? And so if there's multiple teams interested, Steelers and Raiders, and we have to go off. PFF is really accurate with their contract projections. It's like they have a wing of their company. They work with all 32 teams. Like they know what's going on in the league. In that case, a player that's about to sign for $41 million a year, and the tag is $40 million, wouldn't that logically then wouldn't you conclude that, oh yeah, then you're clearly like if that's the market, then you tag him for 40, and you pit two teams against each other. Who wants to give us a 3rd round draft pick?
Possibly. That note to me did not read like a guy who's been told that there's a chance that he's going to be tagged, though. It read like an immediate goodbye, not a.
But the tag also means goodbye because it's to be a tag and trade.
Right, but
they could have told him like, hey, no matter what, you're going to be gone. It might semantically be a tag and trade. But.
I'm just saying, at this point in time, I'm not holding my breath on this one.
Okay, so Judd votes that we as the Vikings front office. Dex, are you with Judd that there will likely not be? Okay.
Yep.
I disagree with you guys, but this is a democratic process.
Yep.
And so we will get nothing in return for Sam Darnold here.
I hope you're right.
We may get like a comp pick of some kind based on whatever like a 3rd round, 4th round pick in 2026. Sure. Okay, other in-house free agents. Daniel Jones. There's no projection on him on PFF. Let's say 1 year, $10 million.
Mm-hmm. Choose the Darnold one. Yeah.
Yeah. Heartbeat. Yay or nay?
Heartbeat. Yes. Yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with it. Yep.
So with that, what they probably do is the same thing they did with Darnold, which is like tack a void year on to bring the cap. So let's say it's we'll call it a $6 million hit instead of a 10, and they spread it over 2 years. So that brings us down to, I'll do some math on the side here. Byron Murphy, Cam Bynum. Do you want to bring either one of those guys back? Byron Murphy, these are the projected contracts. 3 years, $17 million per year. $52 million over 3 years. Basically, 2 of those years are guaranteed. He's 27. And then Cam Bynum, projected 3 years, $14 million a year. PFF, $28 million. So like 2 years guaranteed.
I'd like to bring them both back. They're the only two of the entire potential free agent class from the Vikings. These are the only 2 guys that I have marked as priorities. Mm-hmm. I think Byron Murphy is the most important. He's also, if you look at the lists now, one of the top free agent cornerbacks who's going to be available. Yeah. So I put a priority on him. Bynum, I would like to bring back, but I'm also very aware of the fact that I don't want to pay a safety as much. So if I had to pick between one of those 2 for this exercise, I'm going with Byron Murphy Jr.
Yeah, I think for this exercise, we got to pick one. I don't think we can bring both back. Maybe we could, but I think we should probably keep our spending a little bit more for free agency, the external guys. So I'm down to bring one of them back, and I guess if push comes to shove, I probably lean Murphy. I would lean Murphy to bring back and waving goodbye to Cam Bynum.
Yeah, Murphy, by the way, graded out 22nd out of 118 cornerbacks, according to PFF. 6 interceptions, tied for the lead among cornerbacks. But the thing is, can you afford to lose Cam Bynum and Harrison Smith
True.
in the same
Yeah.
offseason. If we brought both of them back, again, we have to kind of estimate on the cap hits because you don't know how much of a signing bonus they're going to get versus whatever. But so it'd be $17 million a year and $14 million a year. The 2025 cap hits would be lower than that because a chunk of it would be prorated over the course of the contract. So just if you built it in, let's say it's a $12 million hit for this year for Byron Murphy, and let's say it's a $10 million hit for Bynum. So that's like that's 22. We still have over like $50 million.
Yes.
And then there's more money
yes,
going
for
into the
both of them.
future, obviously. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
For this exercise, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep that defense. That defense drove the 14 wins. And Flores is coming back. Those guys are both. Murphy's 27, Bynum's 26. So you're not overpaying for the Daniil Hunter conversation was, he's 29. You got to be careful with guys getting close to the age cliff. These guys are not close to the age cliff.
If you find out, and I would guess, whoa, careful with the microphone. That's expensive microphone. That's big time stuff right there.
Fumbling all over the place here.
If you find out that Harrison Smith is going to return, does that change our opinion or your opinion?
No, because I'm protecting the window too here. Three to 4 years of. You got McCarthy era starting. Harrison Smith, if he comes back for 1 year, you still have the same. Like Byron Murphy on a 3-year contract, you're good. If Harrison Smith retires or not,
Sure.
Hopefully he decides before free agency starts. I think he would.
Well, he should decide here shortly.
Yeah.
Like the clock is ticking, buddy.
So we're bringing back Byron Murphy Jr. and Cam Bynum.
Okay.
Theo Jackson is available at any given time, right? To step in.
Yes, my guy.
Okay. So we'll go 61 at 12, and then we'll put a 10 million. So it gives us $51 million in cap space. What about other internal guys? Aaron Jones projected 2 years, $14 million a year. $7 million a year, $14 million total. Any interest in bringing him back?
At the right price, 7 is. I think is that what he got this past year as well.
Yep.
Because I've got an entire list of guys that I deemed on my piece of paper here at the right price. He's one of those guys. So I guess as a group of 3, we would just have to haggle over what we think is the right price. Because I'm not going to get into a bidding sweepstakes to keep him. But I certainly would not be adverse to him coming back. Still need to get another back. Still very much want to improve my run game. But Aaron Jones as a second part of, a dual running back threat, I could certainly see. So to me, it just depends on price point here.
Well, $7 million is the price point. It's a 2-year. We're using these projections. It's a 2-year, $14 million contract.
I lean yes.
Yeah,
just because what are your other options? I mean, I know we're going to do free agents, but that would be my other question: is what other value could I get for the same price from Aaron Jones or from another free agent? So I lean yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think it's a yes, but you have to be on the lookout in the draft in a running back loaded draft, right?
Yes.
For his replacement,
This can't be your move at that position for sure.
Yep.
But yes.
So we're saying, let's call it it'd probably be like a $5 million ish cap hit on Aaron Jones.
It's not bad. Okay.
He's got $46 million left over. And then, all right, Stephon Gilmore, Shaq Griffin. So right now we brought back Byron Murphy Jr., but that leaves in the nickel 2 other starting cornerback slots open with those guys being free agents. They're both kind of league average-ish cornerbacks. Gilmore's 34. Shaq is, 29, 30? Like 30.
30.
Gilmore's projected 1 year, $6 million. With Mekhi Blackman coming off injury, I would be tempted to give Gilmore 1 year, $6 million to come in and just hold it down until we know for sure what we're doing in the draft and with Mekhi Blackman. That's where I stand.
I think there's a very good chance that he actually retires. Here's where I stand on both of those guys. If this exercise is solely for doing this right now, like as March approaches, I think both Gilmore and Griffin are going to, and Stefan did last year, sit out there on the market for quite some time. So, like, I don't think we need to make a decision right now because, you know, if you sign in free agency or you add guys. So
Okay.
I think they're both viable to return, but I think they're both viable to return like in the summer.
Worry about it closer to training camp.
I wouldn't
and
put any
figure out a way to.
I wouldn't put any priority on either one being signed in March.
Okay. So we'll say I'll just kind of put a question mark. We know that he's available if needed.
Yes.
If he decides, because he's not going to be a first or second wave free agent, you know, if he wasn't last year.
Exactly.
And same with Shaq Griffin. Okay, what about here's the defensive line? Well, what about Dalton Reisner?
No, I'm out.
We're saying goodbye.
Dex,
Okay.
okay.
Good.
Dex.
Probably good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind him as a depth guy, but I'm not like losing sleep over it.
Yeah.
Cam Robinson more valuable as I mean, we talked about like doing the Mekhi Becton thing and taking a tackle, putting him at guard. Becton, 26 years old, young in his career. Cam Robinson is like 7 years into his career. He's probably more valuable signing somewhere else and helping you with your comp pick formula in 2026.
Agreed.
Right.
I think he's gone.
So that leaves the defensive guys. Edge rusher Patrick Jones, who's 27, and then defensive lineman Jihad Ward, Jerry Tillery, and Jonathan Bullard. And these were all guys like big-time rotation guys who, you know, Patrick Jones racked up a bunch of sacks. His pressure rates have been really low, though, the last couple of years.
Yep.
Dallas Turner is ready to step in, you would
I'm
think,
out on
and play
Patrick
more.
Jones,
Okay.
Yeah, out on Pat Jones too.
for sure. Ward, I really like, and I think that he can come back at a very low salary again, probably. So Ward, I bring back. Bullard and Tillery, I probably look to bring back Bullard. Tillery seems like a replaceable. Hey, you played pretty good. But if I'm going to earmark guys to bring back, I'm probably from that list. I'm probably on Ward and Bullard as my guys that I'd like back, if possible.
Yeah, Bullard's Bullard's 31. I'd like to see Jalen Redmond get some time in there too. So saying,
And he's re-signed already, so yeah, you're right.
yep. So what if to that point, if we say, and it'd be like a 1 year, I'm estimating here, like Jihad Ward, 1 year, $1.5 million. Bullard or Tillery would be like 1 year, $1.5 million. So and you do need rotation, you need depth.
Yeah.
So we'll bring back Ward, we'll bring back Bullard, and it'll be about $3 million in total cap hit for this.
Sure. That's not bad.
Okay. So that's all the internals. So to summarize, we are bringing back. Well, in the cuts portion, we're cutting Ed Ingram, we're cutting C.J. Ham, we're bringing back Metellus, Oliver, and Bradbury. Bradbury just for the last year of his contract. Oliver and Metellus on extensions. Brian O'Neill a restructure, so he sticks around. We're saying goodbye to Sam Darnold. Right now, we're assuming he just walks, no tag. We're bringing back Daniel Jones, Byron Murphy Jr. on an extension, Cam Bynum on an extension, Aaron Jones on a 2-year deal. And then we're saying goodbye we're pretty much saying goodbye to Stephon Gilmore, Shaq Griffin until we call you right before training camp again.
Yeah. Get off your couch.
Yep. Saying goodbye to Patrick Jones. We're saying goodbye to Jerry Tillery, but we're keeping Jihad Ward and Jonathan Bullard as like rotational depth defensive linemen. Also saying goodbye to Dalton Reisner and Cam Robinson.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's perfect.
And so that gets us into external free agency with about $43 million in 2025 cap space. And if the Vikings are looking to wine and dine any external free agents, Butcher and the Boar could be a great place to impress, Judd.
Absolutely. The perfect place. In fact, a great place to go for the Vikings. A great place to go for you. Located in the North Loop, Butcher and the Boar. Absolutely fantastic. Happy hour 4 to 6 every day. And here's what the Vikings. So if the Vikings bring in a hot to trot free agent looking for the best in town, they can start him off at Butcher and the Boar with the Judd special, which is going to be great because the Sports Dad special. I mean, a beer, a brat, and a shot for $15. A huge homemade beer brat with sauerkraut and mustard. I suggest this be a lineman. Like, this should be a guard, a guy that just loves to eat great food. Any draft beer, any rail shot, the Judd special. Butcher and the Boar, North Loop, absolutely outstanding. A great place for Southern hospitality, a great place to dine. And like Phil said, a great place for the Vikings to take their prospective free agents.
Yeah. And then if that new free agent, maybe they move into a house and say, this is a little bit of a fixer-upper now that my family and I are here on a 3-year monster contract. So I'm going to get a hold of Minnesota Rusco, Minnesota's hometown remodeler since 1955. They offer a multitude of home improvement products. Cody and Casey have you covered, whether it's windows, doors, siding, bathrooms, kitchens, decks, roofing. 70 years of experience for you to count on with Minnesota Rusco. And now is a great time to get in touch because they are celebrating their 70th birthday sale, which means 70% off all labor, no interest, no monthly payments until 2027. It'd be great if you could do that with free agents. Just defer it like the Dodgers do in baseball.
Dodgers.
Yeah, we'll take Trey Smith and we'll just defer it till like,
Unbelievable.
I guess void years you can do that. That's what the Vikings did with old Kirky Boy. But they'll also give you a $70 gift card. So if you're looking to make your remodel a reality, turn to the experts at Minnesota Rusco, minnesotarusco.com, serving Minnesotans since 1955.
Football.
All right. External free agents. So our biggest positional needs right now, I think, interior offensive line. So we have basically said we're keeping Bradbury for now, and then Michael Juergens as kind of, but we've got our eye on center to a little less urgent than the two guard positions. Brandel does not make enough money for you to have to start him at left guard. He can be kind of your somewhat highly paid swing offensive lineman, which is the role he was in before.
Exactly.
But we essentially have two open guard spots. I think interior defensive line and interior pass rush is going to be a need. Running back, cornerback. Where should we start here?
Well, I'll say this first. Running back, I think, is a draft.
Yeah.
Like, I looked through, the list is meh. Now, the list at guard, I think we start at guard because it's Christmas. Like, you are, when the new league year starts, the guard position is the family, and you go downstairs, and below that tree, you guys, there's just nothing but big presence of football players.
Yeah, there are on the PFF top 100 free agents, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guards in the top 30. And then you get to Mekhi Becton at 41, Brandon Scherf at 59, Zach Martin, who's been, when healthy, one of the best in recent NFL history. Another question here, though, is do you bring, because there's some dudes who, like Zach Martin's in his 30s. Kevin Zeitler, these established, like 32, 33, 34-year-old guys, there are Band-Aids out there. And you, like Kevin Zeitler at 35 years old is going to projected sign for $6 million on a 1-year deal. Brandon Scherf, who's 33, is projected 1 year, $6 million. Zach Martin, 1 year, $7 million. So you could do that. But then if you really want to fix this thing for a 3 to 5 year window, 25-year-old Trey Smith is projected $20 million a year on a 4-year deal. And then that's the top tier. And then there's like, is it Will Fries from Indianapolis, Tevin Jenkins? They're more in like they're injured or have some other question marks, but when they're healthy, they're really good. Kind of that $13, $14 million range. So how do you want to shop this is the question. Do you just full on blitz, pun intended, Trey Smith?
I'd like to go big game hunting.
Trey Smith hunting.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least the top of your list. The top names, I would like that.
Okay.
Like, I would like to solve this. We've talked about Band-Aids before. Hey, can you bring in Zeitler, which I think Detroit did. But I would love to get just one big, honking, nasty, mean guard who you can put
Snot
there.
slinging.
Yes, who you could put there and play him for 4 years.
So if you did that, obviously, let's just, because before we officially bring anyone to butcher in the boar here, we can go through some of the other positions too. But it's projected to be $20.5 million a year for Trey Smith.
Yeah.
Which means the first year cap hit would likely be lower because you'd give him a fat signing bonus. You prorate that over the duration of the contract. So you would wind up with probably like a 14-ish, $15 million cap hit.
Yep.
Which brings us down to like 28 million. We have to leave some room for a first round draft pick too with the accounting.
Yep.
I want to go to the other side of the ball real quick though, because there are a couple interior pass rushers that are hitting free agency too. And I'm just going to butcher the last name, but the Dallas Cowboys, we're going to call him first name is Osa. Osa O is what we're going to call him for the purposes of this. Odighiziuwa. A name we've seen on paper. I don't remember how it's pronounced, but Osa O.
The pronunciation I found was Odighizuwa.
Odighizuwa. Okay.
Yep, that's the pronunciation I found. Yes.
26 and a half years old. Mm-hmm. He's projected to sign 4 years, $21 million a year. Mm-hmm. Now, he only has 13 and a half sacks in 4 years, but one of the best pressure defensive tackles in the NFL last year with the Cowboys. He had 60 pressures, which was third most among interior defensive linemen, right behind Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not saying he's Chris Jones, but he is like a B+, A-, and still room to grow interior pass rusher, former third-round pick out of UCLA. And then I would say a notch below that, but still fairly expensive, is Milton Williams from the Eagles. Now they have a timeshare going along their defensive line, and but he did have 49 pressures and 36 hurries as a rotational guy for the Eagles this year.
He could break out.
Yes, he's 25 and a half. He's not even 26. He's 25 in a couple months until he turns 26.
Yep.
But those guys are going to, according to PFF, those guys on the defensive side of the trenches are going to cost you $21 million a year. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can bring in if you're going to bring back Byron Murphy, you're going to bring back Cam Bynum. I don't know that you're going to be able to afford and also fill out your draft picks in your roster.
Right.
Two dudes who both make $21 million a year.
So which one do we want more? The big guard that fills a huge need. Now
the big guard.
I'll say two things. One is, and I think in our takes last week, Declan brought this to the table, but it was driven home again on Sunday. The need to have a good run game, like a really nasty run game, was on display in the two championship games. The other thing is, does this bring us back to the previous exercise of Bynum? Like, are we talking about, are we signing Cam Bynum to that contract extension at the peril of not making another move between these two interior line positions, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. We did all the bells and whistles, right? And you need good perimeter players too. I mean, the Chiefs and Eagles have some of the best perimeter players, safeties, cornerbacks. So you need all of it.
Yep.
But okay, you got to bring back Murphy. Got to bring back Cam Bynum. Got to bring Aaron Jones is your only good running back, so you're going to bring him back and look for a running back in the draft. But you only have 4 picks, so you got to be careful not committing to needing a running back. Okay, but your biggest problem is trenches on both sides. Yeah. When you watch some of these teams championship weekend, man, look, dude, the Eagles. Here's a trivia question for you guys. How many yards would you guess the Eagles have run for? Regular season and playoffs.
Oh.
It's the most in NFL history, by the way.
3,000 yards.
Higher. 3,700 yards.
Yeah.
And it's because they've got, Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. But
a great line.
That offensive line moves people. And then their defense, they can rush 4 and just run games rushing 4 and drop dudes back into coverage. So, yeah, to your point, Judd, as you reverse engineer this,
go back and do some work again?
Yeah, that's why I say goodbye to one of those two in Murphy and Bynum if you really want to do something there. Like, you can't just completely run. If Flores is the wizard that he is, I'm not saying he can't have complete slappies there, but like Flores' system, he can find the guys that he wants to plug and play there. I just think re-signing both Bynum and Murphy really limits you in terms of what you want to, like, one of them has to go. One of them has to go. And
So
I'm picking the offensive line every time, by the way.
So here's a potential like middle ground solution for you guys. Because I mean the problem is if you let either one of those guys go, you're starting from if you don't re-sign Byron Murphy, you are literally starting the offseason with zero
I don't
starting.
think that's possible.
Zero
But
starting
yes,
quarterbacks.
I'm with you on this.
And then it's like, okay, well, what about Bynum? Well, Harrison Smith's going to retire potentially, and then Cam Bynum goes elsewhere, and it's like, all due respect to Judd's camp notes, that's a lot to put on Theo Jackson. Josh Metellus, you want him being that rover. So here, let me propose this. I think you go get one of these 26-year-old stud interior pass rushers on defense, because that is a high-end interior pass rushers via draft or free agency are really, really hard to find.
Okay.
Really hard to find. And I know that we've said this for 10 years, but it is, in theory, easier to find serviceable guards. So here's my compromise. We bridge the gap for like a year or two, and we get a trusty, established, awesome veteran, Kevin Zeitler, 30. Dude, Kevin Zeitler at 34 with the Lions, third best guard in the league according to PFF. But he's old. He's old.
Right.
He's too old.
Right.
Brandon Scherf is still a top half of the league guard with Jacksonville, by the way, at age 33. Zach Martin was banged up a little bit last year, but Zach Martin is still top 20, top 30, 34 years old. Could you, and these guys are going to cost you nothing, like $6 or $7 million. Do you go spend 20 plus million to fix your defensive trenches and get a 1 year, maybe 2 year, 33, 34-year-old established dude at guard? And it just buys you more time to fix that position long term.
I could be talked into that. Yeah. Yeah. If it's one of these vets that you just mentioned, I could go along with that plan without being too upset about it. Declan?
I'd have to be really convinced about it, because this just seems like we're doing insanity and we're doing the same thing over and over again. And you're not, in my opinion, going out and physically fixing the problem. You're putting a Band-Aid on the problem. And maybe
you are for a year.
Yeah, but the Band-Aid, like, I want to fix this now. I want to fix this right now. And I don't want to continue to run out the same I mean, cross-sport comparison here. Hate to bring these people up into this beautiful show, but the Twins have tried out numerous random guys that used to be so good. Oh, 3 years ago, this guy was really good at his position. Let's bring him in, and he'll fill out the rest of our rotation. I'm sick of that. Go get the best possible guard. Go get Trey Smith. I would say, as dominoes fall, and if Smith, gets a big payday from someone else, I could probably be talked into the plan once it happens, but I'm not for putting a Band-Aid on the situation going in. That's not my 1A plan, I guess is the best way I can phrase it.
But you also need, like, on the defensive side, if you don't sign one of these two 26-year-old dudes, there's not even a Band-Aid in play for the defense. There's like no such thing as a Band-Aid awesome interior pass rusher.
Right. That's the problem. Is
there are Band-Aid 1 year guys.
Well,
there are Band-Aid 1 year guards that'll get you. I know your point. Long term, fix it. Short term, guess who fixes it? Kevin Zeitler for $7 million. He's awesome, and he's probably going to still be really good for another couple years.
Yes, I don't love this, but with the parameters, with the restrictions, our hands being tied a little bit, I will endorse this.
What we can do too is we'll do 3 more versions of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can lean into what Dex is saying.
I hear both sides too,
and make a Trey Smith pitch.
I'm with Dex. I just know that this team had no interior push.
Yeah, dude, I know.
You are not, that is the best way to get to a quarterback is to get there immediately. It's to forklift or move the center, and now you're in the backfield.
So, okay, let's start with who are we giving? Well, there's also, I would say, there's a third option, interior defensive line. He's going to be 27 years old. Levi Onwuzurike with the Lions, projected 2 years, $16 million, former second-round pick. He's the guy that had 9 pressures against the Vikings in Week 18. Not quite on the same level as Osa and Milton Williams, but we got to pick one of these guys.
Let's solve one of these problems with the biggest fish. So
okay, Osa.
Yep, let's go with the Cowboys guy.
Okay.
Osa.
So we're going to go Osa O, $21 million a year, probably like a $14 million cap hit then in 2025, and then it goes up by the year. That brings us to $29 million in space remaining. And then we have to essentially pick one of these veteran guards on like a 1 year. They're all projected, call it 1 year, $7 million. So Kevin Zeitler
or Scherf,
Brandon Scherf, or Zach Martin would be.
Let's bring Scherf home. As I recall, when he left his previous stop, I think it was Washington, that the Vikings were very much in the discussion for that because I think he played for the Hawkeyes, and he's from Iowa. So let's just bring Brandon Scherf home. How about that?
No, here's the thing. Brandon Scherf, much better of a pass protector than a run blocker. Zeitler probably goes back to the Lions, I would guess. They're probably going to throw some money at him. So Scherf, and then let's just see Kevin Martin here. Just want to see what PFF says about him. I'm sorry, Zach Martin. Kevin Martin being a quirky shooter for the Timberwolves 10 years ago.
Great shot, though.
Yeah.
Weird shot, but he made it a lot. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Whew.
Did, yeah. So we'll say, for the purposes of this, we can say Scherf, but it's whoever they deem of that bin, whoever they deem gettable.
That's the question. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Brandon Scherf. It's probably just a straight up six. We'll call it a $6 million hit.
Okay.
Which leaves us still with about $23 million in cap space. Okay. But we need some of that to sign. How much do we need for a first round pick? Probably we need like
12.
Like set.
20,
so call it. It's pick 24. Yeah, like 6 or 7 million.
Yeah, it's not that much.
Yeah.
So that gets. Let's just say that gets us down to. And you want to leave a little bit left over for an emergency, like a Gilmore kind of a thing.
Correct.
So you probably want 10 left. That gives us like $13 million in cap space left over.
Okay.
For whatever else we want to use it for.
So I've got one question then off of this part of the exercise. What is the cornerback? So if Murphy comes back, Mekhi Blackman, you count on coming back from the torn ACL. What's the other part of the plan there? Can we go sign a corner who might not break the bank, but we can at least be confident in can play, can either start or if nothing else, allow Murphy to play outside full time and then can come in and play in the nickel defense?
Yeah, well, I mean, Stephon Gilmore would be, unless you're talking something else other than Stephon Gilmore.
Well, no, I'm talking something else. I think Gilmore retires. Like, I think that you could probably count on him coming back as much as Harrison Smith. So I think you're going to have your ducks in a row for the fact that Gilmore might tell you to buzz off if you call him again at some point.
By the way, if you're going to spend $17 million on Byron Murphy, Asante Samuel Jr. is $14.5 million. And prior to the injury this year, he was awesome. I mean, like widely regarded and graded as better than Byron Murphy Jr. I would throw that. And young, he's 25 years old. He's 2 years younger than Byron Murphy Jr. So
I can listen to that.
They're kind of allocating like probably 15 or 17 million to a corner in his prime. Mm-hmm. And I'll just throw his name out.
Yeah. What's his? So if we check out the projected price tags for Asante Samuel Jr. and Murphy, what's the difference, or how close are they in the projections, Phil?
It's 3 years, $17 million a year for Byron Murphy. 3 years, $14.5 million for Asante Samuel because he only played 230 snaps last year. But before that, he was the 22nd and 28th highest graded corner out of 127 qualified.
Okay.
Byron Murphy, he was very much not a highly regarded or graded cornerback until this last season, and then he took a huge step forward.
Correct.
Second year in Brian Flores' system, etc. And he played a bunch of snaps. I think he played the most snaps of pretty much any Vikings defender. I mean, him and Cam Bynum. Mm-hmm. So, but that leaves us $13 million for like kind of whatever else we could. I mean, hell, you could probably go in and get another depth guard if you wanted to. So you bring in 2 guys if you really wanted to overhaul it.
Mm-hmm.
You could bring in some more defensive depth if there was another, Jerry Tillery type guy that's a former first or second round pick.
Speaking of guards, Phil, what is the projected price tag on Aaron Brooks, the left guard from San Francisco?
3 years, $8.5 million a year. Aaron Banks, you talking about?
Banks. I'm sorry. Yes.
The
Aaron
Saints
Banks.
quarterback, Aaron Brooks?
Yeah, we are. This is like,
He's pretty old now, that Aaron Brooks.
oh my God, this is hilarious. Okay, yes, Aaron Banks. I'm sorry. I had it written down right here, folks. I didn't look at my notes. My mistake. Yes, on Aaron Banks of the 49ers, who is 73rd on the PFF top 100 list.
Yep, and like schematically, so he's regarded as a very good run blocker in that Shanahan scheme, which a lot of like outside zone translates to Kevin O'Connell's scheme.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's actually a good middle ground of, okay, you want someone who doesn't cost $20 million or Trey Smith pick somewhere else, but you want someone who's also not 33 years old. So Aaron Banks at age 27 might fit that profile. But in the last 3 years, he's been out of 76-ish qualified guards, no higher than 33rd in PFF grade, as low as 60th. So are you paying $8.5 million for similar productivity to what you've been getting?
Right.
I don't know. It's but yeah, we can explore that in future iterations.
Okay.
So and then like we said, we got some money left over. So basically, we offensive line now is Darisaw, question mark at left guard. Well, I'll say question mark at one of the guards, and then you're going to put, let's say, a Scherf or a Zach Martin at the other one. Garrett Bradbury comes back. And then you have Brian O'Neill coming back at right tackle. And then you got Aaron Jones coming back. So we're bringing back some of the band here. But on defense, we add one of the best young interior defensive pressure guys in Osa O from the Cowboys.
We're causing havoc
So
now.
we'll fix that. And then we unlock by saying goodbye to some certain guys. We unlock Dallas Turner. So that's where we're at. How do we feel to this point before we get to our mock draft simulation?
Whew. I feel better, I think, defensively. I guess I still have a couple of questions at corner and the offensive line for sure. But that being said, I do see the significance of adding a guy from the interior who can rush. And the fact that with Grenard and Van Ginkel in place already, that's going to help your secondary because now the quarterback is not going to have as much time. I think improves your defense a lot, even if the backside's not exactly what we probably want at this point.
Yeah.
I like the plan. I think next time we should do like a full-on, instead of bringing back most of the band, we lean in on saying goodbye to the band and replacing them more with either free agents or draft plans. Because I feel like we brought a lot of the band back together here in the first iteration.
Yeah, but dude, they won 14 games.
For sure. But are they going to win 14 games again? Like that's a huge assumption. I don't know.
Unlikely, but they don't have. They have 4 draft. This is what we have to be careful about. They have 4 draft picks. So the more we cut and say goodbye to guys, like the more positions they have to fill. And then you're going into free agency, and it's not like there's 10 awesome cornerbacks just ready to sign with the Vikings, and a bunch of if we say goodbye to Cam Bynum, okay, well now you say goodbye to these guys. It's great. We have a couple extra bucks in cap space. You're also losing good players. That's my pushback to that. Unless you're just saying for entertainment purposes, we clean house and try and rebuild the team.
Probably 50-50 of both because I like entertaining. Yeah.
The one guy, one guy that I think the fan base is going to say cut, and it's like, hold on a second, is Bradbury.
Yeah.
Because you've got to know what you're going to do there. Like you've got to give me, and if you look through the list on the potential free agent market right now, it's not filled. Like guard is filled. Like guard has a ton of choices. Super expensive. Yeah. The sirloins. You can get the buffet of guards. The center position is dicey. The Bynum one, if Harrison Smith comes back, I could see that becoming more of a discussion. but he needs to tell us soon. Like, if somebody could please call him and find out. I don't have time for you.
He's probably thinking about it.
But it's been a couple of weeks. The season's over, dude. It's time to make a decision here.
Figure out this massive, biggest life decision
Well, you
in
know
your
what?
in your history.
We're the Vikings. We're not.
today.
Are we really that concerned about him? We're trying to put together a roster.
Yes. Well,
It's a brutal business.
We do have another like 6 weeks until the league year opens, so he can go enjoy a vacation or whatever. But the sooner the better. It would be nice to know. So okay, let's do this exercise can be quick because like we aren't going to deep dive on 5th round draft picks, but let's get into a mock draft simulation to finish this out. Presented by Federated Mutual Insurance Company. So Federated's been around for over 100 years. Based in Owatonna, Minnesota. 1904 is when the company was founded. And it's like having a great offensive line for your business. And they stay focused on safety, preventing claims, risk management, so you can stay focused on growing your business. Federatedinsurance.com to find a full list of industries they specialize in and to find out more about this great company. At Federated, it's our business to protect yours. Okay. So we have, as the Vikings front office, let me just make sure we got these settings right. Okay, 7-rounder. Here we go. Enter the draft. We got 4 picks.
Yes.
Although, wait, it's giving us... See that?
That's an extra compensatory pick, right?
5.
It's giving us 5 picks.
It's giving us another compensatory pick.
But what's this 239?
That must be the extra one. So there's one for...
Well, the C says comp there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Did they like trade for a pick while we were recording this podcast? Dead serious.
What team name is below 239? What initials?
Pittsburgh.
I have no idea.
That's weird. We'll have to figure that out. They
has the 4.
I wonder if there's some confusion about the Vikings picks on their end.
Oh, is there like a... I don't know. We'll just have to let that sit there and not use it because it's not an official part of their stash. I don't know why PFF is giving the Vikings the 239. But we'll fire this up here and let's just go down. I don't think we're trading up, right? So we'll go down to the 24 and see what happens. So Vikings are on the clock just for fun. Cam Ward goes number 1 to the Titans. Travis Hunter number 2 to the Browns.
Love that pick.
Shedeur Sanders falling all the way to 6 to the Raiders.
Well, it's bad news for Sam Darnold.
It does limit the Sam Darnold market. Although like this draft takes place 2 months after that.
Right.
So, do we want to stick and pick or do we want to trade back? The Raiders are calling us.
I would entertain trading back.
Yep.
Yeah, the only team that's calling us right now is the Raiders, and we'd have to move back from 24 to 37. Let's just see what would transpire there. If we ask for their 68, oh man.
Yep. Oh, that's
and
good.
Like the 180. What about the 143? Let's try the 180. So we'd go back 13 spots, but we would wind up with the 37, the 68, and then the 180. You guys good if I offer this?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I am.
Trade accepted. There we go. Let's go. Okay. So we'll resume the draft here. Let's speed up, and now we'll just stick and pick.
Sure.
All right, so the Vikings were back on the clock here, second round, with pick 37. What needs do we have? Running back?
Yes. In a big way.
Offensive line, right? Center and guard.
Yep.
I would say receiver too, just to give you a little more leeway after Jordan Addison.
Absolutely.
Okay.
What's the grades on that? Is that a defensive lineman, TJ Sanders? Is that what this says?
That's defensive interior. So edge,
interior. Okay.
Edge, defensive interior is the abbreviations there.
All right.
And we're just obviously we don't have Thor by our side here.
Well,
so
and
No, we don't.
And I guess we could potentially explore the thought of a cornerback if we wanted as well at some point here too.
Yep, 100%. I'll add that to the list too. So TJ Sanders is he had a handful of sacks. He's the top rated interior defensive lineman, an area of need. You want to pull the trigger on that? Oh, Cam Scadaboo.
Declan's guy. God, that's a great name. That is such a good name.
But he might still be there at 30. Well, no, 37.
Yeah,
so he's not going to be there.
I sort of like the thought process of taking the.
Oh, Caleb Johnson's sitting here.
Oh, Thor's guy. Ooh, okay. All right.
Feels like
he's the Iowa running back. Well, Thor says he's like a late first round pick. So this is where do we battle the PFF board or do we?
That's true.
So I would go best player or a guy that Thor has suggested.
Okay, here's what we do. Let's do this. Let's take this TJ Sanders and then we're gonna trade up. We're gonna trade up for one of these running backs. So let's get a little further in. We have the 68th pick.
All righty.
Hold on. Let's get to like 50 and see who's available. Okay.
All right.
Scadaboo went. I think Iowa running back is still there. Yep. So we could trade up here.
Okay.
To get up to 51. We'll give up the 68, the 51, and then we also have to give up, let's see, the 239? No. The 180? No. The 161? No. Oh, they're going to make us. Really? We have to give up the 97.
Ooh.
That's pretty steep.
Yeah, that's really steep. I don't like that.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah, I didn't like that at all.
Let's see a few more spots. Okay, we're up to 50. Here's 58.
Okay, try it again.
And our guy is still on the board, right? Unless I royally screwed this up.
I didn't see him go.
The 68, the 139, and that 239, we're ignoring that. Let's try this trade with the Panthers.
Okay.
The 68, the 139 for the 58. Trade not accepted. Okay. Well, what if we give him the 97 and take the 112 back? That works.
All right.
Offer trade. Accepted. Minnesota Vikings are on the clock. And there's Caleb Johnson as the number one player.
God, are we working this draft
on the board. There we go, boys.
Unbelievable.
All right, we'll go turbo mode here. So we're back on the clock at 112. We're just Will Howard, quarterback, Ohio State.
Riley Leonard, your guy.
Riley Leonard. All right, so we got running back off. We got defensive interior off. We're looking for cornerbacks, interior offensive line. How about Jared Wilson, center from Georgia?
Sure. Yeah, let's take him.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
We'll take him. And then we're back on the clock at 139. Ooh, Trevor Etienne from Georgia. Another running back. You would take another running back?
No, we've solved that.
No? Okay.
For now. Especially if we brought Aaron Jones back. Lindenberg, the linebacker from the Gophers.
Yeah. Put him next to Blake Cashman.
I'm not suggesting taking him. I just saw his name come up and got all excited.
Dorian Strong. I'm just looking for a cornerback here. Yep. Thor can nitpick this later. And then we're back on at 161. Oh, Max Brosmer. Do you guys want to pull the trigger on Max?
You're not being drafted, right?
How about Akili Arnold, this safety from USC? He had a pretty bad year. 58 PFF grade.
Yeah, the measurables aren't up to snuff for what we're trying to do here, guys.
Quincy, we're going to take, I don't know. We'll draft a safety there. It doesn't really matter. And then 180, we'll take Tyler Batty. He's an edge rusher. We'll take
the
best edge on the board. And then whatever this 239 is that they're just gifting us from Pittsburgh. Jackson Dart will take a quarterback. Always draft a quarterback. All right, boys. So there it is.
All right.
PFF is grading this draft here. And
what do we get?
Oh, they're giving us like
an A for the TJ Sanders pick.
A for Sanders,
nice.
A minus for Caleb Johnson, overall A minus for the entire draft. So
take that, Thor.
Fix the Vikings.
So we wind up with another TJ Sanders, a talented interior defensive lineman, Caleb Johnson plus Aaron Jones backfield for next year. Another potential center to take over for Garrett Bradbury to compete with Michael Juergens, and then some secondary depth and a quarterback. Always take a quarterback in round 7.
Jackson Dart, too. That's another great football name.
It is, man. It'd be ironic, though, if he didn't have a strong arm. But So there we go, boys. All right, we've shored some things up here, and we will do this exercise another at least small handful of times between now and free agency over the next 5 weeks. Any final thoughts from you guys? This Vikings offseason blueprint.
The money went fast.
It always
The money
does.
went fast. I was thinking, we'd get a interior O lineman, interior defensive line, probably get a corner. You know what? The money went way too quick.
I think when you have top 5 cap space, though, it's less about getting 4 really expensive free agents. It's about go get one that is 26 and is going to make a huge impact.
I got greedy. It was Christmas Day, and I'm like, I'm going to get everything that I asked for. And then my parents couldn't afford it all, and now I'm disappointed in them, quite frankly. I'm upstairs in my room crying right now.
And you wind up with a veteran guard named Brandon Scherf instead.
Here's a Mr. Scherf. I don't want a Mr. Scherf.
So, all right, let us know what you think. Do you think should we all be fired? Was Dex right that we should have actually thrown the bag at Trey Smith? I'm sure most people are going to say that. And let us know in the Purple Daily YouTube comment section. Click that like button and the subscribe button. We're fixing the Vikings, so we just want to win a Super Bowl before we die.